Hi everyone, my name is Kelliena. I'm a professional psychic from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Today's video is going to be how to work with tarot to get a timing on when you're going to meet your soulmate and when are you going to receive a message. So the techniques that you're going to learn today is going to help you gauge the energy when there's some communication coming to you. And I want to qualify communication because communication could be your soulmate is going to send you a dream. There may be a mutual friend that you could receive a message from. So for example, a friend might say, oh, so-and-so got a new job or so-and-so is doing this, but that so-and-so could be your soulmate or a connection to your soulmate. When we ask for timing from the guardians and from the tarot, it's very different. Their understanding of time is very different than our understanding of time. So it's when you get the gauge, like I'm going to teach you how to read it, to find out when you're going to get a message or when you're going to meet. It's important to know that it may not be your understanding. So I'll give you an example. Like you might get the number 7, which could indicate July, and July may come and go where you're like, okay, well, nothing's happening. But it could be on your partner's end where something's happening there that we don't physically see or have a physical validation, but it will make sense in a few months or even a year or two before it's like, okay, I know why they said that. So before you begin, there's a couple things I'm going to recommend. One is make sure you have a calendar or a notebook just to keep track of everything, because a lot of times the translations that you're getting right now while you're waiting for your soulmate, it won't make sense. And it doesn't make sense until you're connected and you're with your partner, then everything comes together. So that's the first thing. And with the guardians and tarot, when you get a time, it's important to know it's hard to explain. It's not just one date. So for example, if you're working with the tarot and you keep getting the number, say 8 of Pentacles or 8 of Wands, well, when guardians say that, it usually means like, okay, it could be in 8 days, you're going to get a message, 8 weeks, 8 months, or the 8th month, which would be like August, or it could be the 8th day. So what you want to do is in your calendar, what I used to do when I was single was when I got a number, I would go to my calendar and count 8 days from the day I pulled the card, and then 8 weeks, and then 8 months, and then the 8th month, I would just put a little star. Just like, okay, something's happening. And when the time comes, so like if it's 8 days from the time you pulled it, you just want to pay attention to, okay, what am I picking up? What's being presented to me? A lot of times it can be a dream where it's like, okay, that dream I know it's going to be important. And I didn't realize at the time, but we had a lot of mutual friends that friends would come up because I would make notes of like, oh, I ran into so-and-so. And then I realized years later, that's like, oh, that's because they're trying to get me to pay attention, go through this person. So I just want to kind of put that out there before we begin the techniques on how to find out when you're going to meet your soulmate. And the other part too is if you've already met your soulmate, the cards can be confusing where it's like, okay, well, why is this coming up? Like, why am I not getting a clear time? So one thing that's important is when you write down the time, it may not, it's just kind of like tying to what I said before. It may not make sense now, but it'll make sense later. And if you want to really pinpoint the time, like, okay, when am I meeting my soulmate? A really good idea is to give your soulmate and your guardians a symbol that is directed only to them. So for me, it was, I always used this, the blue butterfly. So every time I saw a blue butterfly, whether it was on TV or if it was on the internet or wherever I was, I knew that in that moment, there was some translation, there was some communication going on between him and I. And when we got together, there was blue butterflies everywhere. And the other part too that became very significant was when we got together, I was going for a walk and I've only seen this once in my life, I've never seen it again, was there was these 2 pure white doves sitting on the power line, just sitting there. And I was just like, okay, something's happening. I think the next day we got together. So there's those energies you really want to pay attention to, but you also want to know your power that you're connecting. The other piece too that I think it's really important to know is because this happened to me a lot where I would be given a time and then nothing would happen on my end. It often is because something's going on their end. And that's why keeping a journal is really important, because when you get together, you'll find out something big happened on their side. So I just want to kind of say that before I start teaching the techniques, that's the beginning of it. All right, I'll get right into it. There's 2 books I'm going to highly recommend getting if you're doing your tarot journey. I'm going to put the links below. The Easy Tarot Handbook and the Instant Tarot Reader. These 2 have been so important during my tarot journey, especially the Instant Tarot Reader. I've had this one about, I think, over 20 years now. And it's something that I think I got back in 97, 98. It's this one here I would recommend before everyone else, because it breaks down the tarot and it explains, like, if it's in this position, this is what it means. If it's it changes all the energy, and it really breaks down all the different meanings per card. I highly recommend this book. The Easy Tarot Handbook is really powerful too. It goes deeper. It's an energy where it really explains the journey of tarot and where it comes from. It's just these 2 I can't say enough about, but I would highly recommend these. I'll put the link below. For step 1, to find out when you're going to meet your soulmate or when you're going to receive a message from them, is you want to find out what season. So step 1 is you actually want to remove all the aces in your tarot. So there should be Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups, and Ace of Wands. So the aces are significant because aces are the seeds. They're the seeds of beginning. So Ace of Pentacles, a seed of earth, Ace of Swords, a seed of air, Ace of Cups, a seed of water, and Ace of Wands are seed of fire. Now, these each represent a season. Now, I'm going to give you my interpretation of it. Now, there's different ones. Like, I know in Easy Tarot Handbook, they have a different interpretation, but this is the one that I've been using for a while. So Ace, I'll put them in order right quick. So there, okay. So Ace of Cups is the seed of spring. So this one usually begins, according to the Easy Tarot Handbook, it begins the beginning of March. So this is usually around the equinox. For me, it's around the equinox, spring equinox. And the season of spring. Ace of Pentacles is summer solstice. Ace of Wands is September, the autumn equinox. And then Ace of Swords would be winter, the winter solstice. So if you're asking your guardian, your soulmate, what season, when this comes in, this will give you a broad idea when it's going to come. And what I'm going to do very quickly is I'm going to shuffle these. And we can find out the answer for you right now. So what I want you to do is take a deep breath and touch your heart. The reason we touch your heart, it just connects your heart to your soulmate's heart. And it helps you find out when, like, it helps you strengthen the energy. So I'm going to put down the 4, 1. And I've been asked, like, can you do this more than once? What I would do is I would do one prime reading, and this could be the prime reading right here, or you could pause it and go do your own. But what we want to do is focus on, okay, what season are you going to meet your soulmate? And be very clear that you want to know, when are you physically going to meet your soulmate in this life? So if you pick this card, this is the Ace of Wands. So that is September. So it will be in autumn when you meet your soulmate. If you pick this card, Ace of Pentacles, which would be summer. If you pick Ace of Swords, then this would be winter. And then if you pick this one, Ace of Cups would be spring. So these energies you want to kind of keep an eye on, like the energy around it, and it usually means something significant will happen. So this is step 1. We want to kind of know what season is going to be strong. The next step is going to be about how reading what's the date. So I'm just going to make sure the camera's okay. What's the timing? When am I going to receive a message? Which this is really important to do. So what you want to do is take your cards, knock on it to clear the energy. And what you're going to do is focus the energy. This is how I used to do it. You put it down, focus energy. I always cut into 3. 3 would be past, present, future. Put them on top. And then what I would do is I would ask, when am I going to receive a message from my soulmate? And then what you do is you pull the card and you go, I read both. So the top one is the time. So we got an ace here, so we know it's a season. So this would be the summer. And then the strength card is a major arcana. So when you get a major arcana for timing, you want to look at the numbers. So on the strength, it's number 8. And so that could be 8 hours, 8 days, 8 weeks, 8 months, or the 8th month, which would be August. So we can see here, this is very powerful because we know it's going to be summer and August. So that's very specific. So for you, when you're focusing on your energy, you want to keep an eye on, okay, what am I receiving? Am I getting a dream? Am I meeting someone? Did I meet someone new friendships? And that will come in. And now if you get an ace and you're asking for a time, then it would go to 1. And usually when you get an ace in a tarot reading, especially if you're asking for timing, it usually means pretty quick. It's coming up pretty soon. The other cards you want to pay attention to when you're asking for timing are, one is if you get the Fool. So the Fool, you notice the number is 0. So when you get the Fool, it means something major is happening. There is a very powerful not just a new chapter, but a new era. This is something very beautiful. A door is opening. So if you ask for timing from your soulmate and you get the Fool, this means something is happening very, very soon. And it means that a lot of energy is opening. It would also keep an eye on your dreams, your senses, because there's a lot of energy exchange. Now, if you're asking for timing and you get a Court card, I'll use the Knight of Cups. So just a random note, Knight of Cups actually means Cupid. So there's usually a message or dream from your soulmate too. So if you get a Court card for the timing, it means a couple things. The first thing, a really easy, gentle way to do Court cards is assign it a number. So one of the numbers that I've given it was always the number 10. So when you got a Court card, it could be like 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 months, the 10th month. And you want to keep an eye on that. Now, the other message about a Court card can mean that, hey, you're actually going to meet your soulmate through a friend. So if you ask for when am I going to meet and you get a Court card, you want to kind of look at the characteristics of that Court card because that could symbolize the friend that's going to connect you or help introduce you. So just a heads up on those. Now, when it comes to timing, I really don't make a big difference between the two of them, between major and minor arcana. I use the same number. So the High Priestess is 2. So I would say 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. And then like if you get a minor, the 6 of Cups would be 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months. The other part too, 6 of Cups can mean someone from your past. So if you get that card, that could be an indication that you've already met your soulmate and it's just a matter of time when you guys connect. Yeah, so that's the way to do it. You just want to look at what season and what number are you getting and then combine it, write it out, and then see what comes in and just keep an eye on all the messages that come forward. But that's how I do it. So hopefully this helps. If you have any requests, please put a comment below and let me know what you think. All right, thank you.